mechanics, we've been on a little hiatus.
You are now watching Race Instinct.
Well, we've both been busy with school. I've been keeping up on the Celica maintenance, just fixing little things like the windshield wiper fluid works, the turn signal thing works. I have a working gas gauge now.
Not really. It still has the light on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So some backstory, because I made another financial mistake, but it's even cooler than this one.
Allegedly cooler.
In my opinion, it's cooler. So I have a buddy named Tom, he lives in Barkhamsted. He had these two Porsches, an 85 944 and an 86 944. The 86 has been sitting in his yard under a cover for 2 years now, I want to say. About 2 weeks ago, I bought it. So we have a new project, 1986 Porsche 944. I bought it for $850.
With all the info on the table.
Yep, got the 2.5 NA.
Not turbo.
Yeah, not turbo. I mean, if it was turbo, that would have been an absolute robbery. It needs a little bit of work. It doesn't run as of right now, but I was able to drive it into the garage. Yes, it ran and drove before I got my hands on it. Did it stop? No. I just rode the clutch.
Okay.
Fuck what you know about me and the Celica. I'm a Porsche guy now. I'm doing a lot of talking. Let's start doing. I'm gonna show you it. Here it is. This is where you pan. I've kind of tore into it already. Engine has about 220 on the clock, I believe. From what I know, it's okay. There's a lot of maintenance records from 94 to 02. I did an oil change. It takes 20W50.
Like VR1?
I didn't put VR1 up at STP, but the master cylinder was bad, so I swapped that out. Well, pretty much all the calipers were seized. I took apart all the brakes except for driver's side front rotor, so it's gonna get new pads, rotors, and then I'm rebuilding the calipers. The good thing about me getting a Porsche for this channel is that it brings a new demographic. And, you know, like the transaxle setup that the Porsches have?
Yeah.
It's pretty much, it's put in there. There's a bell housing and then a torque tube. There's like, so it's like a...
And the drive shaft's inside the tube.
Yeah, the drive shaft's inside the tube that goes all the way back to the transmission in the rear of the car. That brings me to my second point, why the car isn't running right now, is the fuel lines. The tank is right here. Pretty much it's an out-of-tank setup. So there'll be the strainer down in here, and then this line that goes to the fuel pump. So this sits outside of the fuel tank. This strap holds
an external fuel pump.
Yep. And then this check valve screws into the fuel pump. So it has a hard line to the filter that's mounted right about here usually. And then it has a hard line to the feed. So all these lines were completely rusted out. Plan is to do the brakes. I have to make brake lines for the rear. I'm getting new soft lines, braided lines, and then I'm getting this hose and those two hard lines, and then we're gonna redo the fuel lines in the rear, and then it should run. So then I'll drift it. Usually there's hoses into the caliper, right?
Yeah, it's a hard line is the caliper.
Porsche uses hard lines in the caliper for the rears. You can see where I've started the work. Because from here up, it's up perfect, not rusted at all. So I'm gonna splice in a fuel line here with a compression fitting, here with a compression fitting, and run those two back. And then I have my brake line fixed here, running up to the three-way T. I have to run one over to the driver's side, and then I have the one run to the hose, and then I just have to make the hard line. This is probably the worst spot of rust. There's one side over there, and there's no more rust in the car.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, not at all. And the interior's pretty nice too.
Oh, you have the Corbeau seat.
I have the Corbeau. It's an A4 reclinable. So these go for like $800 a piece and like $1,300 for the set.
Damn, you should clean it.
It's got the.
Oh.
It's got the newer dash, other than like the Tom's 85 has like the 3 circles.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of play, but it's better than Tom's.
There's more reverse lockout in going into first and second than there is to fifth and reverse.
You're spoiled with the Miata shifter. This thing is not bad.
It's worse than the Probe. Electric windows?
Oh yeah, they work too.
What?
I just put a new regulator in this one that came with the car. This is where the fuel pump sits.
Oh, there's a shield though.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of like sits in here. What I found in the back.
Oh yes.
The Porsche Intercompressor. I have 2. This one's nicer. got the gold lettering and shit.
300 OBO.
150 for this one, 100 for this one. So if you can see, the rotor's on, right? But it's behind the wheel bearing and hub assembly.
Ew, why is it sandwiched like that? Is the wheel bearing easy to get off?
Yeah, it's super easy. Yeah, it's fucking stupid cap.
Okay.
Alright, so how this works is there is an axle nut, yes. It is a 6mm Allen.
What? It reminds me of a steering rack spline.
It does.
You know, like the universal little joint there? It's like a battery terminal. That's exactly what it is. It's like a battery terminal. It's funny.
Slowly but surely, I guess.
It was a 7-minute clip just to get this stupid little axle nut off.
That's how we do it, baby. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Wheel bearing. These 5 nuts and bolts. Hold it on. Let's use the impact. Grab it for me.
I'm dropping it in 3, 2, 1.
There we go.
That was cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's so light. Top light. The top is oil pump Celica. Wheel wells Porsche. This is Porsche. This is Porsche.
No glove, no love.
Caliper rebuild time, I guess. Alright, now, who's the genius? I'm missing a screw.
I think you're missing a few screws, bro.
Oh, that's cool. I'm definitely missing a few screws.
So Senor Graham forgot to change out one of the gauge cluster bulbs, so it was green, and all the other ones were red.
I didn't know that.
It was the first and only one I took out of the cluster after you were like,
Well, no,
which one is it?
I knew which one it was, but it's like, there's a tiny bulb that I didn't think about.
It was green. It looked like a Christmas tree. It kind of looked cool, but no, it didn't. Did you watch the Miata video?
How recent was it?
Big fan.
How recent was
I
it?
posted it when you were in the shower.
You actually?
I did. That's pretty dope. Recap what we did.
We just gave an overview of the car and everything, and then rebuilt the rear calipers, pressing the pistons in.
You got the freaking front wheel bearing out.
Oh
and
yeah,
hub.
we just took the wheel off on the driver's side.
I'm going to go home with the top down in the Miata.
Want to help me 5.3 LS swap it after I build the motor?
You know, a 4-rotor swap my Miata? Let's build a 4-rotor.
I shower and then I got fucking dirty again, man. Next time you see us, this car will be running.
That's not true.
Not true at all.
That's very not true.